The moments that stand out to me the most would be, I mean, this run that we had this year, last year, the run that we had, uh, but what I'm most proud of is the relationships I've built these past 2 years I've been here. Being a transfer, you don't know what you're gonna walk into, but w- ever since I stepped foot on this campus, relationships have gone so smooth. Um, it's been nothing but love, and the group of guys my teammates that I was looking forward to work with, have been nothing but dogs as far as coming and performing every day, wanting to get the extra work up, staying late, coming early. Just a group of guys have been just, it. I had an idea of what it was going to be, but it really shocked me about just the work ethic and the crew that the coaching staff recruits, and I give credit to them for finding good guys.
Jordan, with the way it started for you here at Miami, you personally, could you imagine what if you eventually were able to do it, you and the team? Maybe look back on when you first, some of the struggles, the adversity you faced.
Yeah, when I first got here, obviously it was very difficult. I remember during the exhibition game last year, I only took one shot, and obviously there's trials and tribulations with everything. But it was about any transfer, finding where you fit in the puzzle, and I didn't necessarily know. Luckily, I felt I was a very versatile player. So whatever the team needed me to do, I was just gonna be my role. And last year it was, cutting, offensive rebounding. But as the years progressed and the relationships got better, I obviously got more comfortable. And I think the beginning of this year was huge. I mean, Coach L had a very, very long conversation just about what the year would look like for me. We lost some big pieces from last year, and he basically asked me to step up, and I felt like I did a good job with that this year.
Have you been approached by, I mean, obviously the list of, Coach L said there's probably 1,300 players interested in Miami now, with you guys being in an Elite Eight, Final Four, all the people looking to transfer. Have people reached out to you, as someone who did transfer here, and what kind of advice are you giving some of those people that are looking to transfer here?
Yeah, I mean, even last year I had players I've played against, reach out to me and be like, yeah, I'm interested in Miami. I'm like, hey, I'm not LeBron. I can't recruit for, you know what I'm saying? But no, on a serious note, all I can do at the end of the day is, vouch about the coaching staff and for the players. People are definitely a lot more interested in Miami, at least from the player side that I see. They see what Coach L is building here, and the success that we had, and everybody kind of wants a piece of that.
Jordan, less of a Miami-related question, just more so as you as a former transfer. Just you mentioned those early struggles that you had. What would be your advice that you would give to transfers who are at these new schools? Just what advice would you give them in their new situations?
Yeah, my advice would be, it's a good question. Um, just stay persistent. At the end of the day, trust your work. You know, it's about being positive. It's hard to get into a new. I understand the difficulty of getting into a new system, but at the end of the day, you love basketball, and hard work is always going to prevail. So regardless of how games go, how you want them to go for like yourself personally, it's just about staying persistent and consistent so you can get past that hump. Because if you just give up on yourself, then you're never going to get out those hard times.
Can you give your sort of scouting report of next year's University of Miami basketball team? You're good at sort of reviewing, how do you think this team will, it's hard to know how they'll do because you don't know still a couple of the pieces coming, but of the players coming back, what do you see for next year's season for the Hurricanes?
Yeah, obviously, the transfer portal is crazy, but in a perfect world, everyone comes back. I see this team being a contender for a national championship. Picking up, not that they need it, but maybe getting some, some key transfers from the transfer portal, just to because who knows who's leaving or whatever. But the core of this group is young. They're hungry. They're electric. All words we've all used to describe the team this season. And again, it comes back to like that work ethic thing. I know that these guys, will always leave it all on the floor. And I don't see anyone, because you know how I felt last year after the Elite Eight, and this year we made it farther. And knowing the guys, I know they're going to be hungry to, get past that and win a national championship. So, I see this team being very, very, very good. Obviously the media always has their preseason ranks or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But then, the team's done a good job of ignoring those, not caring. But, from what I've seen, been around, and the coaching staff, I see this group just, taking this season to another level.
You guys have actually they've got their rank like 2 and 3 and 5 in some of those pre-season polls, so it seems like Miami might get some
love.
At
Yeah,
the end of the season
finally.
this year.
Jordan, can you just take us through the emotion of making the social media announcement that, you're officially leaving Miami, and then just kind of take us through the next steps of your career preparing to go forward?
Yeah, the main thing I wanted to express was the love, and the thankfulness. I wanted to say thank you to everyone in Miami, George Mason too, because I was there for 3 years of my career. Obviously, everyone knew I had no more eligibility. I mean, there were some people that didn't, but I wanted to express my gratitude to the fans, to the coaches for making my collegiate career, something to remember. Obviously, I want to play professionally. I want to play in the NBA, but that's a lot of work that needs to get done to get there, and I know that. I always love the grind, so that's not an issue for me. But again, I wanted to keep everyone in the loop, and I felt like something had to be said, especially after these 2 years here, to kind of just finalize and end my college career.
What do you think you need to work on? Have you talked to some people who are NBA type people who
Yeah.
told you what's kind of the scouting report on you heading into the NBA draft?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is I just need to show them that I can shoot the 3-ball consistently. I don't mind. I mean, my numbers were up from last year. I still believe I'm a better shooter than my numbers shown. But each year, what people don't understand is each year, regardless of who you are, and there's those outliers, but your team only needs you to do certain things. You know what I mean? And we got Nigel Pack, who's shooting 40%. Zay was shooting 40% this season, I believe. Wooga, I mean, at the end of the year, my man couldn't miss. And so, Coach always talks about there needing to be a balance between outside shots and inside shots. And so, me and Norchad were really the only, I mean, we'd have drives sometimes, but we were really the only ones to shoot, majority of the twos, and there needs to be balance in the offense. So to answer your question, it's 3-point shooting consistently. Am I worried? No. But, you just got to get there and show them you can do it, and that's what matters most.
Jordan, just I guess to follow up on that question, just what are the things that you can offer NBA teams and professional teams right now? Just what capabilities do you think you bring to the table?
Yeah, I feel like I'm a versatile player, so I can adapt to whatever a team needs. I know being in the NBA is about, knowing your role, and me not being limited to whatever a specific role. I feel like, whatever role they need me to do, I feel like I can do it. I can master it. Also, I mean, with NBA teams, some guy they worry about, when you get there, or how are you going to react if things don't go your way. I mean, beginning of my career at George Mason, where I was redshirting, and then got taken out of it, and then beginning of my career here, where I was struggling. I get through hard times. I'm a very resilient person. I love the challenges. I feel like, challenges are what make people. So it's just someone who's going to come every day, give it 100%, and never stop until he reaches the places he wants to be.
I also want to ask about Christian Watson and just what you saw from him throughout practice this year and how excited you are for his development moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, man, all the freshmen. But, Chris in particular, he can really score the ball. Obviously, there's some kinks that needs to get worked out, but he was a freshman, and a lot of that is going to get real scary when the game just slows down for him. Again, he didn't get a lot of court burn this year, very little. So, next year with actual getting game minutes, whenever he starts to feel comfortable, I think you guys are going to see a very, very, very high octane scorer. He has the size, he has the length. I think this offseason is a very big offseason for him. I always feel like that freshman to sophomore year offseason is very important, and how he chooses to work this offseason, which I have no doubt he's gonna put the work in. I think will be the deciding factor on how he does next year.